The way I think of fitness now is that I'm prepared to do anything. I'm prepared to take on any task that's thrown my way. An emergency comes up, I'm able to handle it. Early on in my fitness journey and my fitness career, what got me into the gym initially, and there's nothing wrong with this, in my opinion, if this is still you today, was 100% aesthetic based.
Yeah.
How do I look in the mirror? That was what drove me in. And it's still a part of, obviously I want to look good.
Yeah.
But that was 100% my driver. The problem I found over time with that being my 100% driver is results take a lot of time in fitness. And if you're basing it solely off of the way you look, you're going to be disappointed if you're not looking a certain way. Dude, freaking call me next time before you show up with your shirt.
Okay, so here you are trying to embarrass me in front of all my friends. You did call me, and you did say this is now the official uniform.
I put this shirt on this morning, and I thought, there's a 100% chance Tyler wears this shirt.
Yeah.
And I said, but maybe he won't, so I'm going to wear it anyway.
Again, the email, the voicemail, and the text saying green one-shot shirt is our new uniform. Wear it don't
every
show
day.
up.
And if you're just listening and you don't know what we're talking about, we are both wearing the exact same shirt this morning. So
I mean, pretty much the same outfit altogether.
Literally. Both wearing jeans, boot-ish type shoes, and our new green, which it's a fantastic looking shirt, by the way.
Looks good.
And we've had some comments. We've had some messages and some people saying, hey, y'all need to sell these shirts. Y'all need to sell these shirts. Just know we're working on it. We're a little slow.
Supply chain.
Yeah, just shipping delays, right? We can't. Inflation. Putin price hike. So anyway, yes, we've got these cool army green and black. And then you've probably seen a couple of other ones. But yes, we are working on getting these out so that you guys can wear them. I know a couple of you have already reached out. So
it's funny. I was at a conference this last week, and I exclusively just wore our one-shot shirts.
That's all I wear everywhere I go now.
Oh yeah, and I was humble bragging every chance I got.
I just brag.
I'd walk up to people that weren't even paying attention to me, be like, "Oh, what'd you say? Oh yeah, this is a one-shot. Yeah. This is a one-shot shirt. It's a podcast. You should check us out.
You should subscribe, rate 5 stars.
You want me to send you a shirt? I mean, yeah." They're like, who are you?
¿Cómo?
Just random people in the hotel.
No habla inglés. Oh, man. Yeah. So anyway, you know what is a new cultural trend? I wasn't going to bring this up, but we can touch on it just quickly. It's a new cultural trend that I'm not a big fan of, and I want to get your take.
Okay.
That I've noticed is really taking off really in the last few months, and I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
And I think it's taken our country in a dark place.
All right.
We're headed down the wrong path, in my opinion, based on this new cultural norm.
Okay.
And so I just want to get your take on it. And this new phenomenon is fast food restaurants asking for a tip.
What?
Have you seen this?
No.
You haven't seen this?
No.
I was at, what was it? Jersey Mike's recently.
Okay.
And they make your sandwich in front of you. You get to the end of the line, and they have your total, and it says, "Would you like to add a tip?"
Oh, so
10%, 15%, 20%.
So that's not a new deal.
That's a new deal, in my opinion.
Well, it is new relative to the history of humans. Yes.
Wait. Okay. Tell me more.
But I would say no, and I've had this conversation with my wife. Is like you will order. It's like a to-go order, or it's like you're not even like, you're not being served. They literally just take your order and there's a tip.
And there's a tip bar.
And I'm like, nah.
That is desperate.
Yeah.
That's greedy.
Well,
because I guarantee you, because it makes you feel bad.
Did you not? You feel it?
Yes.
Like, oh man,
Dude,
am I
that
cheap?
It's that cultural norm.
You don't tip at restaurants anyways, so
that's not true. I actually was a waiter one summer, and so I actually tip really well.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to be a waiter.
100%. If you've been a server, I think that's the PC way to say
server,
it.
Waiter, server,
is
servant.
Like it's a completely different perspective.
Yes.
But here's the problem though, is that I know how hard it is. But if you do a terrible job, I'm not going to reward you.
I do because I'm a decent human being.
Yeah, no.
But I get what you're saying.
If you're bad, then I'm helping you by realizing like, okay,
I gotta do better.
Let me reflect on the past 40 minutes and the service I provided.
Yeah.
And look, I'm very true. Like if you do a good job, I will take care of you.
Yeah.
I will give you 18.8%. I mean, 18%. What is the new norm now, by the way?
I think I do at least 20. Yeah.
So rich.
Yeah. Well, I've got money, so. No, but it really does give you a perspective if you're a server.
Yeah.
And the problem is, though, you start judging people as a server.
100%.
Because you know these people aren't going to get, you just know. You just start to read people and you learn.
Yeah.
But that's why I think this pisses me off so much that
I'll be honest. Being a server breeds stereotypes.
It does. It's not good for you.
No, it's not good. It's not good for our country.
I remember a $70 tip ticket or whatever tab one time. They gave me 73 cents. They gave me loose change as a tip one time. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, could I have done better? But in my other part of my brain, I'm like, they're just assholes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why it pisses me off that these fast food restaurants who did nothing other than quickly prepare your food want a tip. That's ridiculous.
Agreed.
But I guarantee you they make so much money off of that. I promise you they do.
Because people will do it.
Because of our...
just normal.
Yes.
Market, on a $12 meal, okay, here's another $3. It's like, no.
Right. So I refuse. I'm standing up to the tyranny of these fast food restaurants.
I am with you. Look, if y'all want to put like a college fund jar up front where there's not like an obligation, but again, it's playing the odds. It's playing the numbers. They're just assuming that over half of the people are just going to throw some extra money at you.
And I guarantee you they do.
Oh, I guarantee it's more than half.
I would love to see the statistics of before they started this to after and how much more revenue is generated based off of that. Because think about how many orders they do a day.
Oh.
And if half the people decide, well, I guess I better give a tip.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how much more money they make. And that's why they do it. That's exactly why they do
100%.
it. It's for no other reason than let's see if we can drive more money out of people.
Yep.
So we're on to you bastards.
No tip for you.
Anyway, we're standing up to that. That's a cultural norm I want to put a kibosh on right now.
Yeah, because look, I mean, some 15-year-olds have to aspire.
That's right.
To be servers.
That's it. You know what it is? It ties back to participation trophies.
Yes.
We made your food, so we deserve an extra tip.
That's right.
That's the culture we've bred here.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to fight against on this One Shot podcast.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about today is how can you be personally excellent? How can you push yourself to a further standard, to a higher standard?
Yeah. And
by not giving undue tips.
Yeah, or requesting a tip if you haven't given extra service.
Saying. Shame on you if you're requesting tips for service you didn't provide.
Yes. You know what I don't understand?
We're changing the world.
Here's one area too, because my wife spent, a decade or so in like the beauty industry. She ran a spa back in California. And so like in this industry, it's funny is like they're all independent contractors too, right? Mm-hmm. So if like a hairstylist or whatever. So they pick their rates. And there's an expected tip on top of that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, hold on. They're picking the rate that they want to charge somebody, and it all goes in their pocket. Yeah, they may pay rent. They may have to buy products, whatever. Like, it's built into it. But then you give a tip on top of it?
Yeah.
I'm confused. I don't understand. I don't understand that. It's like, and every time I have a hard time, I'm like, and look, I sound super cheap on this episode. Like, I get it.
Well, you are.
I get it. But like, I don't understand. It's like, well, then just build that into your fee and don't ask for a tip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I don't understand when you are making up. It's like, hey, I'm going to mow your lawn and here's your monthly service fee. But then you also expect a tip every week.
Yeah, I don't tip my lawn guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I just pay him as whatever
That's
he
right,
for.
Whatever your fee is.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, the guy that is doing landscaping is working a whole lot harder than someone cutting hair.
Or making my sandwich.
No offense to anybody out there cutting hair. That's not what I'm saying. But I
don't know, dude. Cutting hair is pretty gross.
So if you can explain it to me in a way that is logical and makes sense, I would love to hear it. So reach out to us.
Yeah.
Send us a
Talk to your wife.
Yeah. No.
No.
She just says that's what you do. And I'm like,
it's not good enough.
I want a logical explanation that really just clarifies for me, like, why you need an extra tip. I'm paying $300 for a massage, and then I got to give you another $50-$60 for two people, not 300, not for me.
Well, no, but I was saying I've never tipped the massage therapist.
Are
you supposed to?
Oh, neither did I. And I got my hand slapped.
Really?
Oh, you have to tip.
By who?
My wife.
Really?
Oh yeah. David? Is that something you know? No. Okay. No.
He's not rich like you, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
So you're telling me I've been screwing, not literally Deshaun Watson.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon?
But you telling me I've been.
Yeah, you've been cutting them short.
I've been cutting them short.
Yeah. Well, according to industry norms.
Really?
But then again, I was on the other side of it, and these tips, when my wife, her big thing was like waxing, right? Those tips paid for our wedding. So,
well,
when I was on the other side of it,
what was she doing for those?
She was pulling body hair off of individuals.
You might want to vet this out a little more.
Oh, trust me, that is the last room you want to be in. Trust me.
This is like racism. Like, you don't even know what real racism is anymore because everybody's just supposed to get tips now.
What? What?
Was that a stretch?
Yeah, reaching.
Combining those two? Okay, my bad.
All right, so
anyway,
personal excellence.
Yeah.
Don't ask for tips unless you deserve tips.
Yeah, this is, wow. My mind's open now.
Yeah.
Because now here I was upset that, my fast food worker was trying to get a tip out of me.
Yeah, but
now I'm realizing that a massage therapist.
Like a massage therapist spends 60 to 90 minutes. Like, I could barely give a massage for 5 minutes before I'm like, babe, my hands are tired. I can't.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah.
No, they definitely, I can see how they deserve it.
Yes.
But I just always assumed that was always worked in the price.
You would
somehow.
think.
Apparently not.
You would think.
Wow. Okay. My apologies to all massage therapists I've ever been to that I didn't do that. So where does the line stop then?
I don't know.
We don't need to dive into it. We've already trashed your ears for too long.
All right, next episode. I'm going to go back to Joe Rogan.
Oh, man. Yeah.
They're more concise.
Speaking of 3.5 hours of nonsense.
All right, I want to take a quick minute to talk about our partner, Choctaw Casino and Resort. We are really, really humbled and grateful to be a partner for them. If you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you've heard how great the resort is there, how great the casino is, the new expansion. They've doubled in size, 3,000 new slots. They've got unbelievable sports bar. They've got unbelievable restaurants, unbelievable movie theaters, arcades for kids. It is endless, the things that they've not only improved but added. But it's just the experience that they provide is second to none. Choctaw Nation has done an incredible job with the community, with philanthropy, with support. They have just done incredible things. So we are extremely humbled and grateful to partner with Choctaw Casino and Resort. Make sure, I know you know it, it's just a short drive up 75. Go check them out. And now back to the episode.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today, though, really is, besides, I'm glad we settled that, is... we talk a lot about fitness, obviously, in these new Wednesday episodes and just the importance of it and why it's good to have as part of your daily routine or weekly routine or whatever. And I think one of the biggest reason for me at the stage I'm in life right now is that it prepares me for anything.
Yeah.
And the phrase I think of is fit for life, to simplify it. And that's basically... whether I'm asked to go on a hike one weekend or a hunt, or my 5-year-old is wanting to go outside and play sports, the way I think of fitness now is that I'm prepared to do anything. I'm prepared to take on any task that's thrown my way. An emergency comes up, I'm able to handle it. Early on in my fitness journey and my fitness career, what got me into the gym initially, and there's nothing wrong with this, in my opinion, if this is still you today, was 100% aesthetic based.
Yeah.
How do I look in the mirror? That was what drove me in. And it's still a part of, obviously I want to look good.
Yeah.
But that was 100% my driver. The problem I found over time with that being my 100% driver is results take a lot of time in fitness. And if you're basing it solely off of the way you look, you're going to be disappointed if you're not looking a certain way. Plus, genetically speaking, I can desire all I want to look a certain way, but I'm limited somewhat to the genes that I have.
Yeah.
am I ever going to look like The Rock? Even if I took outside help, genetically speaking, I'm probably not going to look like that. He has got great genes, and he's taken a lot of extra stuff as well. So my point in saying that is be careful, telling myself, be careful of what you're aspiring to look like, because you're always going to be limited, even if you do take extra help on that. So to me, it's shifted. It's definitely shifted over time of how do I function in the day?
Yeah, and I think so. I think the aesthetic appeal, and there's a whole business on social media about this, right?
Yep.
It's all about aesthetics, all about aesthetics. Okay, that's cool, but phases of life change.
Yep.
Things change. That motivation to me is fleeting, right? It comes and goes. Like I got a vacation, or I got this event, or summertime, or whatever. From a consistency standpoint, it's never really been that for me. I know for me, it was like really middle of high school. It was all about looks.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It was all about like, all right, I got to get bigger arms. I got to get bigger chest. I got bigger traps. I got to look good, right? Because why? I want to be I want to be attracting
to the opposite sex.
Opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
Now, in like college, like I'd go through these things where like, okay, there'd be a period where I'd be single, and it was like I was on point with that, like on point. I'd be lean, my diet would be on point, I'd be real consistent with workouts, and then you get in a relationship, and then just the importance kind of goes away. And so
let me pause you right there real quick and ask you something. During that time, I'm curious, and maybe you were, I'm just curious, genuinely curious. Even though you were low body fat, big muscles, whatever, if you were asked to go run a marathon, or you were asked to go hike, 3 or 4 miles, would you have been able to do that at that time, you think?
Hike it. Marathon, no. Just because, I mean, after high school, my body changed in a way that it just wasn't conducive to long distance running.
Right.
But yeah, I think hiking, because I did a lot of hills just because where I grew up, we had a lot of hills. So I used to run a lot of hills. Our stadium, Fresno State, it was like this, it was a bowl, but it would go up. There was probably like maybe 200-foot elevation change up to the top. So it'd start on the ramp, and then you go up, and then I go down, and then I go up on the other side.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that, and I'd go and I'd do that for an hour and a half.
Yeah. So you did link the two between looks and performance. So I didn't at all.
So there's the performance aspect that was already built in because I was playing college football.
True.
So I'm training year round for that anyway.
That's true. You are,
but,
it's a little different.
But when it came to like diet and leaning out, it was very much driven by my social scenario at that time. But then, so look, just think about that demographic. Okay, let's just call it 16 to 30. But mostly in America, that's kind of the single like lifespan where you're at. What about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Where's that motivation consistently? Like, look, my wife is way too good looking for me, no doubt. And so like, I've always got to be like keeping up with it. But at the same time, it's still different, right? It's a relaxed, like, okay, look, I know she's not going to leave me if I put on 15 pounds or if I put on 10 pounds, and I'm just not. So there's just a different motivation for that. Now, in your marriage, when you do get to a point like going through the 75 hard, like there's a different perk, which I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like there's a different perk there. So that's good. But the motivation alone, just for aesthetics and wanting, because we do this, I would say very rarely for our own. I mean, I think that there's confidence, but we are wanting feedback and we are wanting praise from others about our aesthetics. Very rarely is it like, I could care less about anybody else. As long as I look the way that I want to look, it's all for me.
Right.
Like there's always some sort of outside influence with it.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that that's one, I don't think that's healthy. And then two, I don't think that's sustainable.
Right.
So to your point is, what is your long-term ongoing motivation to continue to have fitness and nutrition as a part of your daily routine?
Yeah, and again, if you're sitting here listening to this and looks are the thing that, because I'll have daily conversations with people of,
Yeah.
oh, I got to lose 10 pounds. I've got my midsection, or I've got this wedding coming up, and that's fine. Like I get, and we've built a culture around that. Honestly, is it's fitness has become
industry
less about
that.
function. Yeah, an industry
around that.
We think of fitness in terms of how do we look, versus what I've evolved into, which I feel is a much healthier way, at least for me, both mentally and physically, which is how do I perform? Am I able to function? We've evolved, early on, ancestors, fitness wasn't a thing they did. It was a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like they were active people. They were hunting, they were gathering, they were constantly on the move. And we've created a culture and modern times where technology takes a lot of that work from it. And that's great. There's a lot of great things about it.
Yeah.
But the sacrifice is you really could survive a long time without having to be active at all.
Yeah.
And so now we've replaced this lifestyle of activity with a lifestyle of sedentation, whatever the word
Sedentary.
is. And then we decide, I'm going to go work out for 45 minutes, 3 days a week, and we think that's enough.
Yeah.
And that, again, there's a million and one reasons why people don't train and don't do it. But to me, you're living life with a governor on. Like you have that truck, that I used to drive Penske trucks, and there was a certain speed that I couldn't go above. The truck would literally cut it off at that speed. That's what I think of living life if you're not physically fit. You don't realize how inefficient you are actually living until you get in. And again, it doesn't make you a bad person. I'm not saying that.
Inefficient.
I'm just saying you don't realize the inefficiencies until you actually do it.
So inefficiencies, but then just quality of life too. So I was at Walmart yesterday, and of all things, I was buying ice cream. So
judge him hard.
Judge him. But I'm walking in, and again, stereotypes. Here we go. But like
Walmart's
very
good for that.
much like people watching, and I'm kind of hyper aware when I go to Walmart, just because it's like there's always something, right?
Yeah.
But here's what yesterday I noticed is there was 3 or 4 couples, and they couldn't have been more than mid-50s. Couldn't have been. And were overweight. And I wouldn't say like it would be like obesely overweight, but I mean technically, but they were big. I mean, they were both the husband and wife were both big, and both of them had either a cane or a walker in their 50s. And they were so big that you could tell it was just painful.
Right.
Going through, like, you could it wasn't, because look, I see that, and I don't have like, there's no judgment. For me, it's empathy. It's like, like, how much of life are you missing out on? That you have to park in the handicap stall to load your groceries. Somebody has to carry your groceries out for you, and you've got to have assistance in just walking from the grocery store to your car. And I'm like, man, like, there's so much in life that you could experience that like you're limiting yourself to. Just because of whatever it is. And look, I don't know the story. I don't know the history. I don't know, hey, look, was there an accident? Was there something that's I don't know. But just first perception is like, there's so much in life that involves movement that, man, I just wish everybody could experience that.
Yeah, I don't look at those people. When I was younger, I would look at those people, golly, they're so fat. It was all looks.
Yeah.
And now I'm exactly like you, which is, it's not a judgment. It's empathy of, man, there's just so much more. And again, maybe they did have an injury. Maybe they're dealing with diabetes. Maybe they're dealing with some massive health issue that they just have no control over.
Yeah.
I get that. But you almost feel sorry for not the way that they're living life, but you just know how good it feels to be in good shape.
Yeah.
Both emotionally, mentally, physically, all of that. And so you're right. It does it makes my heart go out for those people because, again, who knows what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just what I think of now as I've evolved in my fitness journey is how can I function better? How can I perform better? Again, I told you this on the way in. My 5-year-old is all 5-year-olds, they just have endless energy. And I just can't imagine trying to keep up with him if I was out of shape and overweight. And so a big part of my motivation now as a father of a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old and who knows if we're, hopefully one day we're blessed to have more. My motivation now is, how do I keep up with them? How do I stay in shape? How can I be that active dad that's still playing with them because I want to still play with him when he's 14, 15, not just when he's 5.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep me going longer the next 10, 15, 20 years. I better be doing the things today, keeping myself out of pain, keeping the weight off, the bad weight off. These are the things I need to be doing if in 15 years I still want to be able to take them on.
That's right. And I think about so I'm coaching my boys' flag football teams this fall. And look, they're young, but you're talking about 14, 15. Like, imagine being able to go out and be able to show them how to do a warm-up, how to do running drills, how to run routes, how to do, and you have the ability to go out and do that. That's something that I look back and I'm thinking, I don't know if I ever had a coach, even they could actually physically go out and demonstrate what they're trying to teach.
It's very rare.
You know what I mean?
Yep, it's very rare.
How cool would that be, is that you can go out and, all right, hey kids, we're going to go for a warm-up. All right, we're going to go for a warm-up jog. So now you go jog with them. Okay, then you're going to go through your, your active warm-up. And then you're going to go through your stretching. Then you're going to go, and then you're actually doing these things with them. That's one thing to me that I always said is, I not only want to be able to do things with my kids when they're 18, but I want to beat my kids when they're 18.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If we're playing one-on-one basketball, my son's 16, 17, I want to be able to take him to the shed.
Yeah.
And show him a thing or two.
That's right. I really want to put my junk on his forehead.
Pause.
But if I didn't do the knees over toes program, I wouldn't be able to dunk. I would not be able to dunk on my kid.
Have you tried to jump and touch a rim lately, by the way?
I know. Honestly, I haven't.
There's no other reason to bring this up other than to brag on him, but I did. I went and I was shocked at how high. Now, I'm not a jumper by any means, but because I've been doing his knees over toes stuff, no pain, and I was able to jump. I'm 34. I was not at 28. I wasn't able to do that.
I haven't done a rim, but one thing I have noticed, been doing the program, and I'm pretty inconsistent. I'm doing 1 or 2 days a week, but is we do a lot of box jumps in my training. And I'm now, it used to be 24-inch box jump. It was all right, I got to jump, I got to pull my knees up a little bit to clear the box. I'm literally doing straight-legged jumps now. And for 10s to 15s in a row, which is it's a lot of energy jumping. And I'm okay, I do feel like I'm getting up and off of the ground. Right. So that's interesting you say that.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Is how can we continue that? And if you're training, get stuck in one certain way, are you going to be able to still do that in 10 or 12 years if all you're focused on is how you look?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying this to condemn or judge. You whatever gets you in the gym, great. Yeah. But for me personally, and it sounds like for you, I think about longevity. I think about performance. I think about if, the example I use is if I was out on a hike with my kids and we were 2 miles off the path from any, civilization, and my son sprains his ankle, am I able to pick him up and carry him 2 miles? Yeah. That's what I think about when I think of fitness. Yeah. Is being ready for literally anything. Yeah. My 5-year-old, I coach his soccer team, and now they're 5, so they're fast for 5-year-olds, but they're not fast. So, but at the end of practice, I like to run with them and see if they can beat me. Yeah. And I want to be doing that whenever they're 12, 13, 14, and still being able to beat them. That's what I think of when I think of fitness at this point in my life. Yep. Is how can I be ready for anything?
Yeah, and I'll take it a little to maybe to a darker place. You brought up the example of, hey, you're out on a hike in the wilderness, in the mountains, whatever, and somebody gets hurt and you gotta carry them. I just think as a dad, big thing in our family is the boys are protectors. We're created to protect our sisters and mommy, right? That's your job. And my sons are starting to really get it, right? They're really starting to get it. But I just think of man, there's some scary stuff in this world. We don't know what's going to happen. What if something goes down? Yeah. What if something terrible happens on our soil? I was talking with someone I'm surprised there hasn't been something, honestly, right, in this political regimen, because I think this would be the regimen that China or Putin would test.
Right.
right?
Right.
Just because, anyways, what if your family's life depended on it? Mm-hmm. As a father, as a husband, are you going to be ready to be able to answer the call if need be?
Right.
Like it's a 1 in a trillion chance that could happen. But what if?
Yeah.
Like, and that's just always in the back of my head is that like, or like, let's just say like, and I'm not saying you've got to fight or you've got to, but like, what if you're out somewhere? I mean, again, terrible situation. What if you talk about the people in Chicago over 4th of July? Like, what if you're there with your family and you have to pick up your kids and run and get out of there?
Right. Yep.
Again, it's scary. It's
unfortunately that's happening more often than it should. And so, yeah, it's still rare, but you're right. You got to be ready for that.
So I just, that comes back a lot in my mind where it's like, okay, yes, look, I want to function. I want to play with my kids. But like, what if I really need to be able to do something and I just don't have the ability or endurance to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. For me personally, that gets me up on a Tuesday morning when it's cold outside. That gets, again, for me personally, that gets me out of bed more so than, oh man, I'm 3% more body fat than I want to be.
Yeah.
To me, that's a bigger motivator.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's not for you. Maybe you're still young in your life and looks are everything to you. And I get it. I was there one time too. Yeah. But I am happier now with where I'm at with the way I look at fitness. Yeah. It's more of a form of function as opposed to how do I look.
Yeah.
And to me, that gets me up every day. That keeps me going. That keeps me driving because I know my son's not going to stop asking me to play. That's for sure. It's not like one day he's going to wake up and be like, I don't want to play with my dad anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he will, but meaning.
You were my dad.
Yeah. But it's constant. Every single day I get home from work and I know driving home, I'm like, even no matter how tired I am, he doesn't care. He's going to ask me to play.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to, I never want to have to tell him, no, son, I'm sorry, I'm too tired.
And that goes back to the quality of life thing that I was talking about with people at Walmart. It's like the energy, just the ability when you get home, like literally last night. So it's really, really hot in Texas. It's hot in most of the country right now, but it's really, really hot. And I started working in the yard yesterday at 7:30, try to beat the heat. Well, 2:30 rolls around and I'm finishing up. I was trimming some trees and stuff like that. And I about fell out. Mm-hmm. Like it was so hot. Like I literally was like, I'm dizzy. I've already drinking like 2 gallons of water. I can't get enough fluids. And I was like, I just went and got in the pool. And literally both of my sons were in the pool with me, like, and they're like, hey, can I get on your back and can you swim under the water and see how far we can go when I'm on your back? And I'm like, the last thing that I want to do right now is do oxygen deprivation training with you on my back. But okay, let's go.
But you did it and you were prepared for it.
And so we were in there and we did it and it was like, and we had fun and it was great. And then like we get out of the pool and it's like, all right, Dad, let's go shoot BB guns. And then we went out and shot BB guns. It was just like little things that like, okay, like if I was the way that I was 2 years ago, there's no chance I would be on the couch.
Wow.
It's just different. Like we had the episodes a while back about free energy. Like free energy comes when you're active because there's no other way. One, it's endurance, but two, like just the endorphins, the energy production that you have from consistently staying active. I mean, it really comes back to quality of life.
Yeah. Well, and I love supplements. I do, but no supplement can replace that. Think about if you drank an energy drink.
I don't know. I had an energy drink yesterday and felt pretty good afterwards.
But think about it this way. You took an energy drink or whatever because you're, physically you're not able, but you would have missed out on, you'd had to miss 100%. Out on swim with your kids or shooting BB guns. Yeah. But because you're actually truly in shape, you truly have the endurance and energy. Now you're able to make those memories with your kids. Right. Not only is it memories for them, but it's memories for you too. Yeah. So that's another that's just another layer of the onion of fitness is now you're able to make better memories.
Yeah. And the other thing too, the last thing that I'll say is you do a great job on our social media and we have this whole monkey see, monkey do hashtag that you use. And it's important. It's important that they see that. It's important that they see their dad out working, not hiring somebody to do it. It's important that they see their dad getting up every single morning to go in their garage and work out. It's really important that they see those things because they're going to emulate those too. And do we want healthy, full, productive lives from our kids? We got to show them what that looks like.
Yep.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They know what they see.
Yeah. I talk about this, or I think about this all the time. I've said it before, but I've never once forced my 5-year-old out into the garage with me to work out.
Right.
He is out there every morning with me because he wants to be. And he's swinging from the bars. He's pushing slip. I never ask him to do any of that.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's funny. There's mornings, the rare morning when I don't work out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and he's asking me, Daddy, are you working out this morning?
Yeah.
Why aren't you working out this morning? So it's weird to him that when I don't do it, as opposed to when I do. And that's a great place to be for my lifestyle, for the way I am. I'm very happy with that. That he sees it as a weird thing that when I'm not actually working out. Now, can that get unhealthy? Of course it can. Can that become an obsession? Of course it. And I've been there. I've been to the unhealthy side of fitness. But I really finally feel like at 34, I am to a place where, maybe I don't look as great as I want to, but I'm performing better than I ever have.
Right.
I'm in no pain whatsoever. And my kid gets to see me do things.
You did a workout this last week, some Sandbag Get Ups.
Ooh, those are tough.
How heavy is that, by the way? Is that
100 pounds.
It's a 100-pound bag.
Yeah.
I need to get one of them things.
And it's awkward, and I love the sandbag.
But that is real life.
Right.
Like those are the kinds of things that, like, okay, your kid jumps on your shoulder, or something happens, and you've got to get up off of the ground with someone over your shoulder. Yeah. Like that's real life.
Well, I told you we went to San Antonio a few months back on vacation, and we went through these little caverns and caves.
Yeah.
And my 2-year-old, it's a 45-minute to an hour-long hike, down, up. He had zero desire to walk from minute 1 to minute 60. He had no desire to walk. I literally had to carry him. And I don't say that to brag. I'm just saying if I didn't train that way, there's no way I would have been able to do it.
Yeah.
If I was 300 pounds, there's no way I would have been able to do it. We would have had to quit.
You know what's cool, too, about, and sorry, and we can wrap this up, but I'm like this is getting me all excited about it. But and you've done a really good job of like showing me these things. But like the cool thing too about training for that, instead of just sitting and doing bicep curls and doing bench press and doing lat pull downs,
which I'll always still love.
Yes, hey, whatever. But like doing weird stuff too.
Yes.
Like last week, we did a mile with a 20-pound medicine ball. Mm-hmm. And so we literally had to run with a 20-pound medicine ball and had to run a mile.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was like, that's something that like, I've never felt my like back on fire like that. Yeah. Except when I carry my kids at Disney or something like that.
Right.
So it's like you can think of these weird abstract types of workouts that totally make it interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's like a new feeling and it's fun and exciting, but then like it's not doing the same thing over and over and over again.
And I keep referring back. That's another place I was in early in my career. It was very rigid. I was very rigid in my thinking of training. And it was very like one way is the best way. And this is all I can do. And I've got to stay structured. And I've got to stay disciplined with just this. But what I've come to realize is fitness can be expressed in so many ways.
So many ways.
There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
Which actually leads us perfectly in how we'll wrap up this episode.
Yeah, buddy. Here we go.
Today's Wednesday. This Saturday, we're introducing a brand new, I guess you'd call it a segment. I don't know what you'd call it, but we're doing a new thing starting this Saturday. Yeah. And you're only going to be able to see it truly on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it's called Saturday Suffering. And as the name implies, what we're going to do is Tyler and I are going to get together. We're going to invite anybody listening to this, come join us. This is, especially if not this week.
Not this week.
In future times.
You're not invited.
In future times, we would love for you to join us, especially if you're here in DFW. Shoot, if you're not in DFW, fly in.
Come on.
We'd love to have you.
Let's go.
So once a month, what we're going to do is we're going to do this thing called Saturday Suffering. And the point of Saturday Suffering is that we're going to put ourselves in a very, very, very uncomfortable situation, fitness-wise, that we normally wouldn't do. Now, normally we push ourselves, we get uncomfortable during the week, but this is supposed to be above and beyond the norm. And the reason for that is we talk about it all the time. Mental toughness, physical toughness are perishable skills.
Yeah.
If you don't keep up with it, you lose it.
Yeah.
When we were doing football off season 10, 12 years ago, our minds were unbreakable during that time. But over time, mostly unbreakable.
Most of us.
But over time, you get out of that mold, and you start making a little bit of money. You start getting a nice house. You start doing all these things. Comfort creeps in, exactly. And so the point of these Saturday suffering fitness challenges, if you will, is that it's going to push us beyond what we think we're capable of. We're not going to die, but we do want to get maybe to death's doorstep.
Yeah. So it's similar like in the CrossFit community, they have these hero WODs.
Yes.
And so what these hero WODs are, if you're unfamiliar with it, is it's commemorating, it's remembering, whether it's first responders, military, any public servant that has lost their life at some point. But what it is it is a workout that takes it up a notch. Mm-hmm. That you mentally have to dig in. And the point of it is doing these, like the Murph on Memorial Day, like we did this year, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. But in the back of your mind is, look, I'm doing this in memory of someone else. I'm doing it for something bigger than myself. Sure. Because if it's just for me, I can quit. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do with these Saturdays is we're going to take it and we're going to make it so much harder that it can't be about, hey, I got to make sure that my waist is getting smaller, or I got to make sure that when I'm at the pool, I look good with my shirt off. No, this is like pushing ourselves to a place that is so uncomfortable that we can't get there on our own.
That's right.
And that's why we're doing it this week. We're doing it with 3 of us, but in the future, we would love for people to come, because now we're going to feed off of each other. There's the encouragement. There's a push, because again, our bodies are capable of doing unbelievable things. Our bodies will go way, way, way longer than our minds will if we let our mind tell us to stop.
Yeah. The point of these, like Tyler said, is to get through, and in the middle of it, at some point, we're going to want to quit.
Yeah.
But we don't. We push through that. And that's the point, is putting ourselves into an uncomfortable spot and proving to ourselves that we can get through it.
That's right.
And we're going to bring our boys with us. We're going to show them, what it's like to suffer and how do we respond to suffering and to stressful situations. Yeah. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be really, really difficult. Yeah. But the point is to reintroduce some of that controlled suffering into our lives so we don't forget what we're truly made of.
That's right.
So that when times of stress do come, and maybe we are out at some sort of event and an emergency pops up, we're ready to do it. And the only way that you can get used to that type thing is by practicing it. And so that's what this Saturday suffering is. So anyway, we're going to do it once a month. We'll tell you again in the future. We'll give you more of a heads up if you want to come join us.
And we'll do that. And just as a disclaimer, if you feel like, hey, I haven't done anything, like, we're not going to put anybody in a situation where they're going to hurt themselves. It's consistent. So we
can't guarantee that, but
I can't. In other words, you will sign a waiver. But what it is though is what we'll do is we'll figure out, like, hey, look, if there is a scaled version needed, that we can scale it down.
We want this to be a community thing. Yeah. We want everybody to be able to show up, suffer at their own pace. Yeah. Push yourself beyond whatever your limit is. Yep. This is going to be pushing Tyler and I to our limits. Yep. But we'll definitely try to find a way that you can push yourself to if maybe you're, a little bit, you're not quite in the same place. Goals, Right. So anyway, Saturday suffering, very both nervous and excited.
You want to share what it's going to be? We can share what it's going to be. Or do you want to surprise them on YouTube?
Yeah. Workout, the first workout, and this may not mean anything to anybody, but basically we're going to have a 2x4 board, and we're going to be on a football field. And you have to basically think of a bear crawl where your hands and feet are on the ground, but your hands are on the board and you're pushing the board 100 yards. And then Tyler's going to push it back, and we're going to have another buddy of ours who's going to join us. So we're basically going to go back and forth and do that. We each have to accumulate 10 reps of that, 1,000 yards of that. Anytime you stop to rest during the middle of a repetition, it's a 10 burpee penalty. So again, I went and tested it yesterday. It's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. But it could be we've never done this workout before, so it could be one of those things that if we get to the end and we're like, I've got a little more left in the tank, we're going to do something else. Mm-hmm. We're not just going to quit and think, that was good enough. Mm-hmm. We want to push ourselves, not obviously to the hospital, but enough to where we're like, I left everything out there. Mm-hmm. And I pushed myself today.
Just if I could ask anything of listeners out there, pray for my Achilles and calves. Just pray for them, please.
And your quads. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully it was helpful. If you did, a huge favor we would ask for you is to go to the Apple Podcast app and rate our podcast for us. Help us out by giving us a 5-star review and leaving just a quick comment review below. It'll take you all of 15 seconds, but it really helps us out, gets us exposure to more people, helps more people hear this podcast. And that's what we're about. We're about improving the community around us, improving the community in this country. And that's how we can do it. And that's how we could really use your help. So if you've ever found any value at all in this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a 5-star review and a rating. Also follow us on Instagram at one.shot.pod. We're on YouTube as well. Again, these Saturday Sufferings are only going to be on our YouTube channel. So find us out there. Anything else I'm missing? Any final closing thoughts?
That's it.
No? All right. Well, hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.